crushed poblano. They're all pretty close to this size and shape. They've done a good job at Bueno of making these things fairly uniform. Our goal is to use a half of poblano in each relleno, all right? So I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna slit this thing just down the side like this. And just kind of come on around. You guys will figure out how to do this much quicker than me. And then I wanna cut the core out, okay? So just cutting off that stem end. All right, stem there. Now I need to get the seeds out. So grab a trash can, and then I'm just gonna scrape the seeds into the trash can. I don't wanna rinse these because I don't wanna rinse off all this flavor from the roasting on the outside. So scrape the seeds out. And there you go, there's my poblano halves that I'm going to use to make my roll-ups. Okay, so I've gone ahead and shucked the stems off another couple of these for our test here, or our video. And you can see pretty uniform in size, but this one here was just kind of an odd piece that came off, I think, this one here. And so we're going to take this, set it off to the side. It's a little too thin to use for the relleno. I'm gonna cut that up into bits and throw it in the fundido veg. No reason. Okay, so we've got 3 wontons laid out with poblanos on it in different stages, just kind of see how it looks. This is gonna be for an appetizer order, but the same procedures, it's the same procedure for whether you do 1, 2, or 3, all right? Whichever the item might be. So, black scoop of Squeeze Mix. Black scoop of picado chicken on the Squeeze Mix. Just kind of spread it out a little bit. And then you're going to roll the poblano. Now, notice I put the mix on the fat end of the poblano. They're going to roll it like a crescent roll you make at Thanksgiving with your mom, you know? You'll notice I've laid these out on these wonton wrappers with the wonton in kind of a diamond shape instead of a square. You'll see that makes it a little easier to roll in a second, all right? So bam, 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 all right? Half of poblano, black scoop of Suiza, black scoop of picado. Now we're gonna roll them up basically like a burrito. We're gonna fold this end over, grab our corners and tuck, grab our corners and tuck, and then we're gonna just keep rolling. All right? Fold over, corners and tuck, corners and tuck. Make sure the ends kind of come in so we don't get any oil back in there, and we roll, okay? And then corners and tuck. These are just a little dry. I had them out here for a second for the photo shoot, but they're still working okay. Corners and tuck, okay? One other quick thing about these egg roll wrappers, they'll come in a package like this. They keep for a long time. You've actually had these out for a couple of weeks. But you want to put them in Ziploc bags when you're storing them to keep the air off them. These have only been out for maybe 5 minutes, and I can already feel them drying up on the edges, and when they dry, they crack, even worse than tortillas. So let's make sure we keep them in Ziplocs. Keep them in Ziplocs out at room temp. They'll last the whole shift. Throw them in the fridge overnight. You'll be good to go, all right? So good to go on these things. So now we're gonna take these rellenos. We're gonna put them in our chimney basket, just like we would little baby chimneys. Drop the lid, over to our fryer. The real trick, these are gonna fry a little more violently than a normal chimney, so we just gotta make sure we put weight on it. We usually do that anyway, but we'll do it this time for sure. Do that. And there we go. Now, the egg roll wrappers cook faster. It's only going to be about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, maybe 2.5 minutes before we're done here. Okay, here we go. So egg rolls are done. You'll notice they come out. I left the basket on top the whole time. Like I said, it's a little more violent down there with these things, and the oil gets in and penetrates differently than a tortilla, so they can blow up a little easier. However, you keep them weighted in the chimney basket, you're golden. In fact, golden brown, as you can tell right there, okay? Got some what I'm calling egg roll wrapper strips in the spec card to differentiate it from the Juanton Rellenos here, all right? So we got these little fried strips. These things fry super quick, by the way. I mean, like 35, 45 seconds. Bang, we're gonna set those down in there. Take 3 of these bad boys, make a little teepee right here in the middle of the plate. Don't get too tricky with it. We're gonna set this right here on the edge, okay? We're gonna hit it with some queso fresco. pinch. All right, that dude's ready to sell. That's our Juanton Rellenos appetizer. Okay, so I've already taken a yellow scoop of poblano cream sauce, put it in the middle of this plate. Notice I'm kind of on the back half, just towards one half of the plate, 1/3 of the plate. Took the back of the spat and just kind of swirled it around. I'm gonna send this through the oven. The stores have put sides on the plate on this side. You put the sides on now too. We'll set this thing on the belt. It'll go through. The sauce is gonna heat in the oven. The plate's gonna get hot. When it comes out the other end, is where we're gonna put the rellenos. Okay, and there's the finished plate. Sauce came out of the oven, nice and hot. Plate's nice and hot. Added the sides on this end. That's how they do it here at the store I'm at. And then took the Juanton Rellenos, laid up the bottom one down in the sauce, set this one and just kind of, you know, leaned it up against it, all right? Made that kind of a T shape. It doesn't matter how that comes together, as long as it looks something like this. I mean, this could be here and going the other way or whatever, but just as long as you get that nice little lean-to. Hit it with a little queso fresco to give it a little color, and then that dude is up in the window ready to go. Now notice, poblano cream sauce on the bottom, margarita sauce here. I splashed a little queso fresco in there, which is fine, and that little bit of a sweet tart sauce, sweet and soury kind of a sauce, goes awesome with the cream cheese, squeeze a mix inside the poblano that's inside the relleno. So just a great combo and a great little two-edged sword with the poblano cream sauce and the margarita glaze. Great stuff. I've got my lunch piccata already plated. Those who've been around for a while will notice this is old school piccata plated right on the plate. I'm doing that because I don't want a rear bit and this ramekin on the same plate. So I'm going to take my ramekin, I'm going to fill it 2/3 full with pasta. Just about like that right there, okay? I'll keep an open bag of pasta just on the line here. Then I'm going to take a black scoop of piccata chicken, all right? Set it on top, just kind of spread it around a little bit, perfect. And then I'm going to take half of a blue scoop of Diablo sauce across the top of that, okay? Spread it around a little bit, but once it gets hot, it'll melt out, all right? So now this whole plate's cold. I'm going to take it, put it in the microwave. And we're going to go for 30 seconds. Okay, we're done. This is hot. I'm going to bring it out, just kind of leave it all on the plate. Do a yellow scoop. My normal specs on this thing, right? Of cheese on the piccata. And cheese. Just one yellow scoop on this little baby Diablo. Now that's kind of a lot of cheese, but I actually want it to kind of melt down over the edges, all right? This is one of those times when the clean edge isn't necessary. Notice I got it kind of falling out. When it comes out of the oven, we'll see it's gonna brown around that edge and just look really good and yummy, all right? No sides on this plate unless the guest requests. If the guest requests, we'll give them sides for free, but we're doing no sides. It's a full plate of food. There's no need to waste the money on something the guest probably doesn't want to eat anyway. This thing will go through the oven just like normal. Okay, so here's our piccata Diablo right out of the oven. Notice you got that lovely little crust around the edge of that thing, you know, French onion soup, eat your heart out look. Nice little browning on the cheese. That's how all your food should look coming out of the oven. Not that just straight melted white that looks like it came out of the microwave, but some bubbles and some brownness to it. So on this plate, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some of our egg roll wrapper strips. We're gonna put it down a little bit here. Again, just to kind of give this wonton some height. Set that wonton right there, down on those strips a little bit. We'll just work it down. If you gotta break a couple of these, no big deal. Okay, and then we're just gonna garnish this like normal. So, diced tomatoes on our piccata. Just a few. I think the spec card's gonna say 4 or 5, but it's as best you can. Just a nice little sprinkle. And depending on the dice size, this is a really fine dice of these tomatoes, so it's 6 or 7. If yours are chunkier, it might be 4 or 5. And then we're gonna put chives on both. And I'm just saving a few chives off that piccata dip, but the spec says 4, 5, or 6, whatever, right there on top, okay? And then on that Diablo, we're not gonna put the sour cream scoop. We did that in the photo shoot, and then after so you'll see it on your menu picture. After the photo shoot, we just thought it covered up too much of that beautiful crusty cheese. We're just gonna set a jalapeno ring right there on top of that, dude. We're good to go. If a guest asks for sour cream, no problem, we'll give it to them. Now just a little pinch of queso fresco over our Juanton Relleno, and that's our plate. Notice no sides, but we plated it so it's a nice full plate of food. Doesn't need the sides. Again, the customer's not gonna eat them, gonna throw them away, and it just costs us money. So our first time to do an entree like this without sides, but we think it's a great way to go. So there you go. We'll serve that with a 3-pack like normal. One nice, cool combo. We call it the Don Juan. It's a fun little dude.